Hello and welcome to the 92nd episode of the Sock Bunny Knit and Fit video podcast. My name is Kimberly, also known as Sock Bunny, and today is Wednesday, July 3rd, 2013. I'm recording from sunny Florida in the United States of America. Thank you very much for joining me. This is a little mini episode where I'm going to show you my spinning from yesterday. I decided instead of recording at night when I was tired and the lighting wasn't good, that I should just wait until in the morning and record when the lighting is better and I'm not as sleepy. So, what did I spin yesterday? Well, I finished the first 4 ounces of my sweater yarn. This is some BFL that I dyed. It's a little bit greener and not as dark as what you're seeing there. And I am going to be applying this later today. I also spun up 2 ounces of some alpaca, and this was gifted to me a while back, like over a year, I think, back by Gail from Alpaca and You. And so I spun up 2 ounces of alpaca, and I will also apply that later today. So nothing too exciting. Boring! No, not really boring. It's fun to spin it, but I like to spin like, variegated color changing stuff. So, I'm trying to, go outside my comfort zone. So that is my spinning from yesterday. I had somebody ask me a specific question about the tour, so I decided to go ahead and talk about it today. This was a question asked by Debbie, who is Fluffy Dog owner on Plurk and Ravelry. She asked, how did the tour get started? So I'm going to read part of it, and my source is Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. And also, I'm giving you this very condensed version of it, and also sort of my opinion about it. So take this with a grain of salt. I am not a historian, nor am I French. So there you go. So the Tour de France actually Tour de France got started. Um, we have to go back about 9 years before it actually started to see what happened to cause it to start. So we're going to go back to 1894. In 1894, there was a political scandal called the Dreyfus Affair. And I'm going to read this part. This was a political scandal that divided France from its inception in 1894 until its resolution in 1906. It involved the conviction for treason of Captain Alfred Dreyfus, a young French artillery officer of Jewish descent. Sentenced to life imprisonment for allegedly having communicated French military secrets to the German embassy in Paris, Dreyfus was sent to a penal colony where he spent almost 5 years. So this was a big political scandal that partially had its basis in anti Semitism. Eventually, all the accusations against Dreyfus were demonstrated to be baseless. In 1906, Dreyfus was exonerated and reinstated as a major in the French army. He served during the whole of World War I, ending his service with the rank of lieutenant colonel. This case, this political situation and case, is studied by historians and political people, and I'm going to read what Wikipedia says about that. The case is often seen as a modern and universal symbol of iniquity justified by reasons of state, and remains one of the most striking examples of a complex miscarriage of justice where a major role was played by the press and public opinion. So the roots of the tour are in the Dreyfus affair. Now you're like, how are these two things connected? Okay, so let's go. It's the year 1899. There's a horse race in Paris. The president of France is there. There's a guy there named De Dion. He thinks that Dreyfus is guilty. And something happens. I don't know what happened, but he ends up hitting the president of France on the head with his walking stick. So this, of course, gets big publicity in the newspapers and so forth. There was a very popular sports magazine, and I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it because I don't speak French. There's a big daily sports newspaper in France, and its editor thought that Dreyfus from the Dreyfus Affair was innocent. Now, remember, this is before he had been proven innocent. So the original guy who hits the president, he thinks he's guilty. This guy who owns the newspaper thinks that Dreyfus is innocent. So he decides that he's going to make the original guy, whose name is De Dion, look really bad. So he basically, I guess, rakes him over the coals in his newspaper. So this makes the guy, De Dion, really mad. So he decides he's going to open his own sports newspaper slash magazine and drive the first newspaper guy who made him look bad, drive him out of business. So he opens his newspaper, and I guess it just wasn't as popular as they had hoped it would be. So they had this big emergency crisis meeting, and they're like, what are we going to do? Well, there was a young guy there. He was 26. He, at the time, was the chief cycling journalist. And he had the idea to have a um, 6-day race all around France. Now, evidently, they used to have really long races, but they would be on a track. And I guess they were just endurance races around and around on a track. Well, he decided, he thought it was a good idea to have a race that would last 6 days and go all around France instead of just being on a track. So, that was an idea that they took and ran with it. And so the whole purpose of the tour was to make this newspaper, have popularity to run the other newspaper out of business. So the tour was basically a marketing tool to get newspaper readers for a sports newspaper, for political and religious differences, opinions between two newspaper owners. So there you go. That's how the tour got started. Very interesting. I have no idea if these two newspapers are still in business. um, this is something I have never heard of before, but I am not French and I have never studied French history, so I don't know if this is, common knowledge or whatever, but I thought it was pretty interesting that the whole thing was really just politics, as are a lot of things in the world. So, thank you, Debbie, very much for asking that question. If anybody else has any questions about the tour that they want me to research for them and look them up, I am more than happy to do that. So, just get in contact with me and let me know. So that is it for today. I hope you are enjoying these little mini episodes. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 4th of July, which is a huge day here in America. It's our Independence Day. So I will be hopefully remembering to wear red, white, and blue tomorrow. And so I hope you have a great evening. Keep on spinning, keep on crafting. Bye. Oops, I didn't click on the right thing. Bye.